Hello, hello, hello. I am live, I hope. I forgot to get a tissue out before we start. So welcome. A lunchtime live for a change. Say hi in the comments. If you are a newbie, please do let me know if you are new here to my I just about to say my efforts. You're new to my efforts if you're new. Or if you're a repeat offender, which is the new joke on the block in Clare's world. Hi, Carmen. Marige, I'm going to go for. I hope I'm saying that right. Because I can't hear you. You don't get to let me know if I'm saying it right. I wish you could put a little audio note in there. But what a beautiful name. Welcome if you are new. Or if you have been here before. We had a joke the other day because the thought that came to mind was that you're repeat offenders. If you've been in before or if you're a new offender. But that was just because my brain spat that out. Isn't it interesting? I've actually just been creating a meditation for Insight Timer, and I've been in this meditation where there's a part of it where I'm talking about observing thoughts and how utterly random they are. Such random stuff comes into our minds, doesn't it? And a lot of it we don't even bother about. But then there are certain bits of it that we take so personally, don't we? And then we end up feeling terrible, is the sum total of that, really. I can see that Violet's here. Hello, Violet. I'm starting to just recognise some people who are regulars, but if I don't recognise you, then I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. So today we're going to be talking about a subject that... Yes, you have. You're here again, Slovena. Well done. So we're going to be talking about limitations to liberation. Wow. What a topic. Transcending thought patterns. Love it. Absolutely excited about this topic. I'm just getting my little remarkable out because I've got a reminder of things to say to you while I'm here. Otherwise, you get to a certain age and not everything stays where you want it to stay in your head, does it? Unfortunately, I've had loads of other documents open today and now I can't find it. So bear with me. So the good news is that if you missed what day are we on? Thursday. If you missed yesterday's session, I have managed to do the screen record thingamajiggy and it's now out there on YouTube because some people were asking yesterday, they came in late and they're like, oh, I've missed the session. So now there is a new link on my bio which has a lot more things on it than the old one. So hopefully you can connect with me through that. So please do hop over to that link. It's still a work in progress. I'm adding more and more things on it all the time, but you can hop over there and have a look at the things I've got on there, including a new playlist on my YouTube where you can go and watch. I'm starting to screen record these. So that I can share them with you because I know some of the other teachers do that, and I know there are some people like Juliet yesterday came in at the last minute, and the irony was that she was doing my course, so she forgot to come to the live. So if you're interested in the courses, do head over to my profile. We've got two courses now, both been approved, and now I've got my fancy new mic set up. Check out. My mic needs a name, actually. My motorhome's called Trevor. I should call the mic. But now it's got this, you probably can't hear me now. Now it's got this little hat on and this pop screen thing. My sound quality is so much better. Bless you, Slovena. I love people who are sneaking a listen while they're working. Lovely, love it. You've got me on in the background, so don't worry about interacting. It's absolutely fine for you to have me on in the background. It's nice that I've got some words in the comments now. But if even while you're listening in the background, you just think, oh, I just want to say something about that, and I want Claire to speak about that, then pop it in the comments. But otherwise, please, if you can, let me know where you are in the world. The sun's back today in the UK. I think we've hit 13 degrees. Not quite as warm as it actually looks out the window. I haven't been outside today. I did some yoga this morning. I haven't been for a walk because I'm going out later into Leeds, not out, but out to a networking event. There may be a little drink involved, if I can be bothered. I don't know. I'm not a big drinker, really. I sometimes have a little drink when I fancy. So I'm in Yorkshire, where it is sunny today. And I'm in a city called Leeds, big city, probably might be the 4th biggest city in the UK. Somebody from the UK probably correct me now and tell me it isn't, but I think it probably is. I feel like it's London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, something like that. Right slap bang in the middle of the country. Mind-blowingly, if you live in North America or anywhere else that's big in the world, we're about 70 miles from each coast. So I can go to either coast within 70 miles, which is quite cool. I am here today in my house in Leeds at the moment, but often, but not quite as often as I'd like, I'm in my motorhome. My motorhome called Trevor, pottering around the country, visiting all sorts of places, sometimes for my fiance's work, just sometimes for the hell of it. So yesterday's session was called Discovering Inner Resilience, Embracing Adversity for Growth, and that is now available on my YouTube channel because I've worked out how to screen record. I was right, you have to put it on, screen record, and then walk away and leave it. So I did it this morning when I was getting ready, when I was doing my yoga and stuff. I put a timer on and I left it recording, and when I came back it had recorded it, and then I managed to put it onto YouTube. So that was, I feel like, technically competent today. So I've done that. So if you do come in part way through, don't worry, there will be a chance to catch up on it later because I've now found the technology to do that. But if I could actually do it while I was actually live, that would save a lot of time, wouldn't it? I will think about that, whether that is possible. I'm not going to do it today because we've already started. So a little bit more about me. If you're new here, let me know if you're new here. We've got Marij, beautiful name, who's new. Carmen, I'm not sure if you're new or not. Let me know if you are. And let me know where in the world you are. And if you've got some sunshine today, let me know. We've got all sorts of lovely icons. I've got some lovely faces at the bottom. I love to see faces, but also some nice scenery. I like people who've got a little scenery icon. It's nice to see something different. We have flowers and all sorts that come in. It's quite cool. But I like to see smiley faces too. So let me know where you are in the world and what you're up to today. And if you're like Slovena, I think. If you are like Slovena, it's fine if you're listening while you're working. Cool. I like it. So I'm Clare Downham. Oh, that's next door's dog. I can't remember. What's next door's dog called? I should know because it's my ex-husband's dog. Anyway, it does like to bark. Oh, Carmen, you're in Australia. So what time is it in Australia right now? Marije, you're from the south of the Netherlands, lovely part of the world. Yeah, where in Australia? Where is it? What time is it in Australia? I feel like it's either really late or no, really a lot later than it is here, isn't it? Like late evening sometime, maybe. Or quite late, actually. I feel like maybe 11 p.m, something like that. Anyway, let me know, Carmen. If you're up late listening to me, that's lovely to have you here. It's nice to connect with people from other parts of the world. 8 p.m. Okay, cool. Yeah, Vicky here from... Yeah, Queensland, Australia, 9 p.m. Okay, so that's good to know that this is a useful time for you. If you're up way past my bedtime is much earlier than that. I'm like a little child. I get up early and I go to sleep early. Nice to meet you, Vicky. Nice to meet you, Vicky. Oh, I mean, if I can't even say the word Vicky, we're in trouble, aren't we? So a little bit about me. I'm Clare Downham. I burn out big time. 8 years ago now, 2015, my burnout. Anybody here experienced burnout? Not my burnout, the burnout I experienced. I don't wish to own it or have it back. Thank you very much. I was a primary school head teacher when it happened. Any teachers here today, actually? Because it's half term in the UK, schools are off. So there could be some teachers here having a lunchtime thing and hopefully not thinking too much. Oh, Marije, you're a teacher. Are you on holiday as well then? Is it school holidays in the Netherlands too? We have a week off at this time of year. The last last week in May, beginning week in June. Oh, so welcome if you're a teacher. So I was a primary school head teacher of a large primary school in Leeds when I burnt out. People say it's teaching. It wasn't teaching. It was my thinking about blooming everything that caused the problem. I was very, very stressed, but I had no idea I was stressed at all. I mean, literally, if somebody came to me the day before I walked out of work and never went back and said, "You're really stressed," I'd have said, "Don't be ridiculous. I'm fine. I don't get stressed." Oh, you got a day off today. Nice, marriage. Lovely. Yeah, so I didn't know I was stressed. And I'd been stressed for a long time, probably years. But then I had this big peak in stress when I split from my husband, my ex-husband. He lives next door, by the way. That's a comedy story we may be covering another live. So he moved next door, and we split up, and then I just went a little bit crazy, really, and tried to enjoy myself a bit too much, I think, really. Did a lot of dancing, salsa dancing, and going out on a Saturday night drinking too much, and also did a lot of online dating. Anybody done that game? That's a interesting game, isn't it, to play? I mean, to be fair, I do have a lovely fiancé now, and I met him on Tinder, so it can work. But I got very, very busy, and eventually my body went, "We're not doing this anymore. It's ridiculous. You have to stop." So I stopped. Well, I didn't choose to stop. I just stopped. My body just went, "No more. Had enough." And I ended up with something that I guess you'd call like chronic fatigue syndrome. I couldn't really do anything for about a year. Oh, excuse me. I couldn't do very much. I was exhausted, had no motivation, was really poorly, and I didn't work for a year. When I resigned, I started a business by accident. I was invited to train to do hypnotherapy, and I thought, well, it's interesting. I'll go and have a look at that. And I did the training, and then I discovered that meant I was starting a business. Well, it really was totally by accident. I didn't think I was going to start a business, but anyway, I did. Not a hypnotherapist now, though. I got really into self-development. Anybody else here into self-development or has been into self-development? And anybody here who's just got a bit sick and tired of it and feeling like you're an ongoing project? That's what I got like. I was this creative being. We're all a creative being, you know? And then there's a box that society has created, and I was trying to shoehorn myself into the business owner shaped box and felt rubbish about myself because I didn't fit in the box. So I tried to fix myself with all sorts of different things: books, therapy, poking around in the past, daily rituals to get myself into the right state, Tony Robbins style. Anybody else a recovering Tony Robbins fan? I was, and I'm not anymore, I'm afraid. It's a bit too much for me, is all that hustly stuff. And I went on and on and on like this for a few years. Kind of okay, but didn't feel like I could get off this self-development hamster wheel. I had to keep working on myself. And then I, by accident again, was introduced to the 3 principles. The 3 principles is the understanding that I speak to in these sessions, in all my content, in all my recordings that I put on. Even my meditations are just pointing you towards this idea or this truth of how your experience is created, helping you to see the nature of thought and feelings, helping you to see these 3 principles at work: the principles of thought, consciousness, and universal mind or universal intelligence, helping you to see them at work so that as you are going through life, you can do that with more ease because you have a different relationship with your thoughts and feelings and behaviour, and as a result they start to change. And that really is what I do now, is help people to reveal their potential, because underneath this noisy space up here, you are infinite potential. You are God, you are the universe, you are universal intelligence. Hello, Mary, who grew up in Illinois and it now lives in Park Avenue, New York. Hello, Mary, welcome. New York's probably, well, in terms of the US, it's the closest probably to us in the UK. So not as far away as many other places, and time-wise not so different as well. So it's about, is it 8 or 7 there? 8 a.m, I think, 8:15 a.m, something like that. I don't know if you're 4-hour difference or 5-hour difference at the moment. I lose track with all the clock changes and things. So welcome if you're just coming in. Thank you, Mary, for introducing yourself and letting us know where you are in the world, and to everybody else who's here. And if you haven't said hello, you don't have to, but it's always nice to know where we are in the world. If you have just come in, I'm in Leeds in Yorkshire in the north of England, slap bang in the middle of the country. So I was just telling a little bit about my story. So the 3 principles came into my life. My hypnotherapy business went kaput because people said the people couldn't come to my house in March 2020. Anybody remember March 2020? What a bizarre time. Hi, Tammy from Tampa. Tammy from Tampa. That's brilliant, isn't it? It's great. I love a bit of alliteration. That's being a primary school teacher for you. I can't resist a bit of alliteration. So I came across the 3 principles, which I've just been talking about, and there is now a track going to be live soon, hopefully, on here. If you go to my profile and you follow me, and there's a link there to find out more about me, but there is a track going live soon, and that track is a track that just tells you a little bit about the 3 principles and why they are helpful. The 3 principles is a really simple understanding of how the mind works. It's transformational, utterly transformational. If you like listening to me, please stay listening to me and learn about the 3 principles, or reach out and talk to me or whatever. But if you don't like listening to me, find another 3 principles teacher and engage with learning about 3 principles, because it is phenomenally life-changing. And I really do. I should really just do a live when I just talk about the changes that I've experienced. But the new recording, which will be live soon hopefully, is called What Are the 3 Principles and Why Are They Helpful, or something like that. So that's definitely worth looking up. Please do follow me if you're new here and you've not come across me before. I am regularly on here. I've got loads of live booked already. I'm ahead of the game this week, folks. I've managed to get myself all booked in for my lives next week, all at various times of the day. So hopefully people can catch me no matter where you are in the world, really. So the 3 principles changed my life, went through a huge transformation. Then I learned to teach it, which is what I do now. And then I kind of started a second accidental business, really. But I guess this one, I always felt with hypnotherapy there was something missing. Like it wasn't quite enough. And the 3 principles is that missing something. I love working with people to guide them towards their innate well-being, that I get to just see people so differently now. Not all day, every day, but a lot of the time I can see people's innate wisdom. And that we have a system that is always trying to get us back to that innate well-being, to reconnect to it. Sometimes haphazardly, sometimes unhealthily, but actually there is a system in there that's at play. And once we understand that our feelings are inside us and not outside us, coming from outside us, then we can have a different experience. So today, and I love Insight Timer. I feel like I should have a little badge that says that. Oh, I love Insight Time. And I love Insight Time because you're all here. And I've never been live. I've done a lot of live stuff in my time, and I've shared a lot of content, and I've never felt quite so connected as I do with the audience here. So I love all of you, and I love Insight Timer. And we are so fortunate to have it as a resource, me as a teacher and you as people who come here to learn and to help yourselves experience life better, and to help yourselves connect to your innate wisdom, to connect to your full potential, to be all that you possibly can be in the world. And hi, Andy from North Carolina. Welcome. So if you are able to make a donation today, if you find this session at all helpful, if you just love Insight Timer and every so often you like to throw a few quid towards it, or dollars, it's all in dollars, isn't it? Not quid, not sterling, then I am utterly grateful. I'm always utterly grateful for that. So let's get cracking, because I've waffled quite long enough. I always say I'm going to waffle for 10 minutes at the beginning. It's never 10 minutes, always longer. So welcome to this lunchtime live. 12 p.m. live today. I've never done one at this time before, so I'm hoping there's lots of new people. Say hi if you're new. So today we are going to explore from limitations to liberation, and what a journey that is. That I feel like we're maybe always on it, that journey, but that the possibility to let go of our limitations is available to all of us all the time, and that is just amazing. It's just amazing that that's possible for us. And I speak to a lot of people who don't think it's possible for them. I did a session at a firm of solicitors a little while ago, and somebody put a comment in at the end of the session. The session was called The Truth About Stress. It was all about this understanding that I'm sharing with you. It was the truth about stress. It was, pointing people to their innate well-being, pointing people to not needing to do stress management and all sorts of things. And at the end, somebody put, "This is all very well, but I'm just like this." And, I felt my heart just go, well, my heart sank a little bit, but my heart went out to him too, this person, because I just thought, well, I'm sure he's not the only one who thinks that they are broken, damaged, they were born this way, that they can't change, that it's all very solid, and that's that, I'm stuck like this kind of thing. Now, I do think that not so long since, we used to think that, didn't we? We used to think that, I think maybe, some religious leanings have taught us this, but that we were born from sin is a phrase, isn't it, that's used in some religious groups, that we were born not so good, we're probably all a bit broken, and then life breaks us a little bit more, and then that's it, we're kind of stuck with this way of being in the world that isn't perhaps very satisfactory, but we're just stuck like that. And that is, that's just how it is. That's how we think it is. Now, many a scientific study and much research has gone on since times like that. And now I think, it's generally understood that there is this thing called neuroplasticity. And I'm not really a neuroscience person, but there is this thing called neuroplasticity, which says that actually the brain can keep changing, and we can keep learning new things, and we can unlearn, because really that's what I'm pointing to. What I share is a subtractive psychology model. So we're looking at unlearning things, letting go of things, releasing things, that all of that is possible. For everybody, no matter how old you are, no matter how stuck in your ways you think you are, no matter how you might think, I've always been like this and I can't change and I'm stuck, no matter any of that, that's just your thinking that's telling you that. And, if you've listened to me before, or maybe you're new here, I'll tell you that your thinking is quite an untrustworthy source of information. I was listening to a podcast the other day where the woman said, when she came across this understanding, she was a bit blown away to even realise that she thought. She didn't realise she had thoughts. She just thought that was her. She didn't really kind of label them up as thoughts. It was just, oh, that's just me. That voice in my head is me. It's who I am. It's just what happens. I kind of listen to it and do what it says, and I get on with my life kind of thing. But she wasn't particularly happy, and she wasn't having a particularly nice experience of life. But she really didn't see that she was not her thinking. And that's mind-blowing, isn't it? So I feel like this is where we talk about levels of consciousness. Consciousness really is that. But I don't want it to sound comparative. It's just a way to talk about it. That really at that level of consciousness, we don't even know that there's thoughts, and we certainly don't see the separation between us and those thoughts. And really to move from, because what does limit us? Let's talk about that. This title of this session is From Limitations to Liberation. What limits us? One thing only. Our thinking. Now, that's not underplaying if you have some physical issues and you can't do certain things because of that. But in terms of our creative capability, our problem solving ability, our decision making ability, our ability to solve anything really that we come up against, that thought is the thing that creates the limitations. And you might be wondering, how does it do that? Why have we been designed, seemingly, to have limitations? Well, what the heck? What's the point of that? Why would God create creatures like us? And we are the only creatures who experience this because we're the only ones that think like we do. I mean, domestic animals a little bit, I think, because they've got used to being around humans. But mostly, we're the ones that have limitations. You know, I don't think a squirrel... I don't know why I thought about squirrels, because often there is one just running across the back fence there, but a squirrel doesn't actually perceive it has any limitations. It just gets on with doing its life. There might be some things it can't do, but that's just in the moment. Oh, I can't do this. Well, I'll go find a nut somewhere else or climb a tree somewhere else. Just this tree's not available. But it's not seeing a long-term limitation. And I think that's part of the problem. I was listening to something the other day and the lady was saying, well, it's part of it is because our brain has not evolved massively in the last few thousand years, not really moved much on. Our brain is still this kind of prehistoric brain. It developed a lot in the past, but now it's kind of stuck in the same. The way it processes is the same. And the human brain was made for an immediate return environment. And by that I mean, here's something coming at me. It's going to eat me if I don't kill it or run away. So that's what I have to do. I have to react continually to real things that are happening in my environment. The human brain now doesn't do that most of the time. Most of us are not under immediate threat of anything. So the human brain is kind of still set up for this immediate return environment, but it's not getting immediate return. So that's where we end up thinking about things. We think about things in the future, we think about things in the past, and we get ourselves kind of caught up. And where we limit ourselves is because at some point in the past, something happened to us that wasn't particularly maybe helpful. Maybe somebody was unkind to us, or something we had to protect ourselves in some way, or we just misunderstood a situation when we were very small, when we didn't really have a good understanding of the world, and we just developed a coping technique in that moment that was helpful in that moment, probably kept us out of danger. So one of my favourite ones to say, as a child, you might stand up and share your poem in class, and then everybody laughs at you. And of course, at that point, you learn in order to keep yourself safe from that immediate danger right then, being laughed at in class feels unpleasant. It's not nice. So we develop a safety mechanism, really, and that safety mechanism says, don't speak out, or don't get up and talk in front of a group, or don't do a presentation, or don't do a live video if you're a business owner and you're stuck and you're not doing things out there, putting your content out there, etc., that you should be. Or it might be not going for promotion or not. It doesn't really matter. That's what happens. And then over the years, we develop an awful lot of these, and they limit us. They limit us. They stop us in our tracks. And how that used to look to me was, it would be me having an inspired idea. So an inspired idea to do something to grow my business, an inspired idea to solve something, to whatever, often around my business, I would have an inspired idea. And then my limiting thinking would come in and squash that idea down, and then I wouldn't do it. Now, for me, that didn't particularly feel anxious. It more manifests itself as an avoidance. So those of you that have spent time with me before will know that I have a motorhome called Trevor, And we've owned Trevor 2 years yesterday. We got Trevor. And so Trevor's just had his second birthday with us in our lives. Excuse me. Now, Trevor is not a camper van. Trevor is a motorhome. A 6-berth, 7-metre long motorhome, 3.5 tonnes. It's a big vehicle, and it's quite an old vehicle, so it's quite heavy. Not so much, probably a bit of power steering, but not so much as maybe a modern vehicle would have. When we first got the vehicle 2 years ago, I had frozen shoulder, so I couldn't drive the motorhome. I would have been in agony, and I wasn't strong enough. My arm was very weak from lack of exercise because it really wouldn't move even to there. It was down here somewhere, like 45 degrees was about as high as it would go. So I didn't drive the motorhome, and I didn't drive the motorhome. And then my shoulder got better and I still didn't drive the motorhome, and I just was putting it off. And then a couple of weeks ago, we were parked up somewhere. We'd slept in this really beautiful spot. And then we had to move the motorhome to the car park for the daytime so my fiance could get to his job and I would work from the motorhome. And that morning I just went, right, I'm going to drive the motorhome. I'm going to drive the motorhome to the next car park and park it. And I did. It was just a short drive and it was fine. And then I picked him up from work at the end of the day and I drove all the way home. And then I've driven all the way home from Wales as well recently in the last week or so. Now, I never really felt particularly nervous about driving the motorhome, but I avoided it. So sometimes these limitations show up in a feeling. So we feel anxious, so we don't do something, or we feel stressed out and we don't, or we feel we don't feel confident enough, so we don't do something. For me, it just manifested as procrastination, just avoiding it and not doing it. So just be aware of where it is that these limitations that we have are showing up, because they can show up in all sorts of different places. So you might be thinking, well, what's the solution to this? Well, the solution is awareness. It's always the solution, actually. I know that you've probably tried loads of different things, self-development-y things and books and God knows what, to overcome your limiting beliefs. And who's done affirmations? They're a good one, aren't they? I did them for a long time. But really, the awareness and beginning to have a different relationship with that voice in your head is really what we're pointing to today. And that's why, the second half of the title is Transcending Thought Patterns. I pretty much guarantee that where you are not doing things that you think would be helpful, you are listening to a pattern of thinking that is flipping repetitive. So I invite you to bring some awareness to that. No judgment. Forget the judgment. Self-development does that to us. It says, right, here's a thought pattern that's rubbish, awful, shouldn't be having it. Let's judge it as wrong and then try and change it. That's not my invitation. My invitation is just awareness. With self-love, with compassion, with an understanding that at any moment we're always doing the best we can. And the second piece of awareness is that your thinking's not you anyway. It's your psychology. Your psychology is not who you are. You are so much more than that. You are infinite and you are the potential of the universe. You are not thinking. So the invitation for awareness here is, if every time you go, if there's certain things that every time you go to do them, you feel limited, you feel stuck, you can't really do them. So I know as a business owner, and particularly as someone, I don't really call myself a coach now, I call myself a human potential catalyst, because I coach doesn't say what I do. It's a transformational conversation, really. There are coaching elements to it, but it's not really coaching. Yet procrastination was for me too, Slovena, and I hope this is helpful for that, because every single time you notice a behaviour or you notice a thought that is something that is holding you back, I guarantee It is a repetition of something that has come before. And although that you might think, oh, well, that's just a nightmare, I've been doing this forever, maybe I'm going to do it forever. No, it's helpful because it helps us to see that if it's the same pattern of thinking that you had, so let's say as a business owner, you want to do a live video, or if you're employed, you want to go for a promotion, and whatever it is, and every time you've done that kind of thing, the same thinking has come in, or there's a few different things you've tried, and every time you try, so as a business owner, it might be share a post, do a live, invite somebody for a conversation to talk about your business, and the same voice keeps coming up, doesn't it? Well, you can't do that, you're not good enough, you're going to sound stupid, blah, blah, blah. Have you noticed? It doesn't even change its tune at all. It does not change its tune. There will be a course coming on procrastination, Andy and Slavena. It's kind of bubbling in here somewhere. It probably might be August's course, because the aim for me now is to have a theme each month. This month being revealing your potential is the theme for the month. A course that goes with it. So the course is now live. It's called it's called Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles. Last month's course is Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease. They are both still available on my bio, so please do go and take a look. And the idea is that I have a theme. Now I've got a thing about know your mind and learn to love it next month, but I feel like procrastination is coming up quite a lot at the moment, so I might do procrastination and productivity next month. And I do already have quite a lot of tracks on productivity, so I could well share those and do some live sessions on that as well. So it's starting to become aware that it's the same pattern. So I was chatting to a client the other day and we were talking about going for a walk. So she had said, look, everything, like since working with me, she's noticed, she's been through my Constant Calm course, and she started to notice so many things just seem to be absolutely fine now. She says, I'm really busy at work, but I don't feel stressed and I feel imbalanced and I'm not so bothered about things. And she's really had such a transformation. But she said, I'm not really doing any exercise and I'm not sure what that's about. And as we explored it, it was the same voice every time she thought about going for a walk. And the voice said things like, you haven't got time, you're too busy, you've got all this work to do and you want to get ahead so that something else in the future can happen. You'll do it tomorrow or do it later or blah, 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 or the weather's not quite up to it. Or, she was talking herself out of going for a walk. In here and in her gut, she really did want to go for a walk, but it just wasn't happening because the voice in her head, the limiting voice, was stopping her from doing something that actually would have been really good for her. So bringing some awareness to what your voice says without judgment, remember, because that just brings about a load of self-consciousness and that's not helpful. Just noticing, what is that voice saying to you? Now, mine has a name now, just for comedy purposes. If you come and listen to my sessions, you'll realise there has to be something comedy in it at some point. So just for comedy purposes, my voice has a name, and the name is Niggly Nelly, and she sits in a chair in the corner, excuse me, and shouts rubbish at me. Still she does. Now, I just don't take her seriously. Now, if you want to read a little bit about something about this, there is a lovely piece of writing called A Letter to Fear by Elizabeth. Just search this on the internet. Letter to Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. And in that piece of writing, she talks about She's the lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. So the piece of writing is basically written just as she's going on that journey. So if you don't know Eat, Pray, Love, the lady sets off and she goes to Italy, India and Indonesia. She randomly chooses 3 countries that begin with I. She's had a relationship breakup and off she goes on her travels. And as she's setting off, she writes this love letter to fear. If you message me, I can send you it if you can't find it on the internet. It is on the internet, but I can't share links in the comments. It won't let me do that. So the letter to fear basically says, dear fear, creativity and I are going on a journey, and we know you're going to come along because you always do. You're a bit like that, but you're going to sit in the back seat. You don't get to make decisions, you don't get a vote, you don't get to control the radio, you don't get to drive, you don't get any of those privileges, but we know you're going to be sat in the back going, nah. Well, my niggly Nellie's like that. She's still around sometimes, although I feel like she's probably really drunk to the point of unconsciousness now because I keep giving her wine, sitting her in the corner. And Elizabeth Gilbert really speaks to this because she's saying, well, yeah, do you know what? We're going to have some thinking that says you can't. We're going to have some feelings that feel uncomfortable. But neither of those things know what we're capable of. I was talking to a client yesterday who's quite stuck at the moment. And I said to him, why? He said, I need to feel more motivated. And I said, why do you think you have to feel a certain way to do things? That's a limiting idea, isn't it? I used to think that motivation was a thing that I had to wait for, and that when it arrived, I would proceed with my life and do the things I wanted to do. I think I thought that I had to had to have a certain kind of morning, the right ritual and the right affirmations, and that then all my ducks would be in a row and a beam of light called meditation, called motivation. The beam of light was called motivation, not meditation. Beam of light called motivation would come down from heaven, touch me on the head, and then I would become motivated and do all the things that I had been putting off. But I now realise that I don't need any of that. My ability to do things has nothing to do with my thoughts and feelings. Slavena, those thoughts that are holding you back, they are thoughts, they are psychology, they're not you. The idea of the comfort zone even existing is an illusion created by thought. And your potential as a human being is way, way beyond that. It's just hidden by the thinking, just covered over by your diamond inside, your potential. That which cannot be broken is just covered sometimes by some grubby thinking, some old dirt from the past. It's not even anything to do with the present moment. And bless you. Yeah, I think mine used to be too, more of a screeching screamer. But over time, we can begin to change our relationship with that voice. And this 3 principles conversation is a portal to do that, really. Just beginning to see it all in a different way. And over time, it gets quieter. Oh, that's an interesting one, Andy. Tell me a little bit more about your situation being mediocre. I'd love to know more about that, and I'll swing back round to that in a bit. So what we're really saying here is that thoughts are not you. They're just the things you learnt growing up from people who got upset with you, from situations you didn't understand, from unpleasant things that might have happened to you. It's just the stuff you've learned. It's not real. It's not that solid. It looks solid because it's been in there, hasn't it, for a long time, chunnering away to itself and chunnering away to you. But that's not who you really are. It's passing. And a great way to see that is that it does pass, doesn't it? Like, we don't think the same way all the time. So that can't be you, because it's transient. It moves. And we don't have to feel or think a certain way to do anything. So when I'm saying here transcending thought patterns, I'm not saying get rid of them. I'm not saying affirmation them out or try to do positive thinking to make them go away. What I'm saying is that they can still be there and you don't have to listen to them. Like it's an odd thing to say, I think, when you really think the thinking is the thing. But you don't have to think that. You don't have to think what you're thinking now. And if what you're thinking now is holding you back, then as your awareness rises, it'll become more clear that you don't have to listen to your thinking. So bless you, Andy. So, I mean, I don't know the full details of your situation, Andy, but that's just the kind of thing that, even if people I work with are not totally stuck in a dead-end job, they're probably in some situation that don't. I think we're all at some point in some situation that is not okay for us. And, like, it can seem really big. And it can seem like it's something massive to break out of. But actually, there's just the next step. There's just the next step, Andy. Not a lot to do, not, oh my goodness, it's so big I can't get out of it. Not, I'm stuck here. And it's a big, like, if you've got an idea, I mean, sometimes I think this is what the law of attraction can do to us, which can be a bit difficult, is that we're in a situation and we want to be in a different situation. That situation is what we dream of, perhaps. And it looks like a big, big jump, doesn't it? But really, it's a step. And Andy, you're here listening to this. And I hope, following on from this, you're going to go and listen to some more of my content. I really do encourage you to do that, or listen to somebody else teaching the 3 principles. Because the changes that happen from being in the 3 principles conversation are not you forcing things to change. As you begin to understand your thoughts and your feelings, as you begin to understand how these 3 principles work together to create your experience, gradually over time, that the thinking just begins to fall away, and you start to notice that your life is changing. When I launched this business, I was stuck for a while and wasn't, I was still learning understanding and still finding my way, and felt quite stuck, and felt quite financially was quite stuck, but I don't feel like I've massively made I haven't done any self-development at all since I came across the 3 principles. But gradually, the limiting thinking has fallen away, and the liberation has happened. And it's just because I understand my thinking in a different way now. I still have some of those crushing thoughts, but they don't crush me anymore. I still have some of those limiting thoughts, but they don't limit me anymore, because I don't take them seriously. And that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at understanding that we're not our psychology, and we don't have to do things just because our thinking says do them, or not do things just because our thinking says not do them. And so bit by bit, we can and start with something small. Like my client who's saying, I'm not really going for a walk, I'm not getting enough exercise. Like I said to her, well, we'll start Well, just start with putting your trainers on and saying you're going to walk around the block. And notice the thoughts that come up about not having enough time and blah. They'll be easier to ignore if you're really only going to go for 5 minutes initially. But once you get out the door, of course, you start to walk and you end up walking a bit further because the thoughts kind of, they ease off then, don't they, once you've set off. So start. You can't stop them, but you can ignore them. And when you ignore them, they stop. I know it sounds like I'm talking here live from Crazy Town, but actually that's what happens. I liken it to toddler taming. You know, if you've ever had a toddler, or you've seen them everybody's seen them in the supermarket on the floor screaming for chocolate, haven't we? Although I think we see them less now, and I think that's because parents are giving in and giving them the chocolate. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But we go into the supermarket. I used to go into the supermarket with my toddlers, and they would demand things and get upset and throw themselves on the floor, and I would ignore them. Now, quite quicker with my daughter than with my son, to be honest, they learned that I wasn't going to give in, and so they stopped doing it. Your thinking is very much like that. If you're ignoring that limiting thinking, over time it will just stop turning up. So, yes, you're right, Slovena. I do not believe an awful lot of my thinking now. Now, particularly if it makes me feel bad, keeps me stuck, has me doing behaviours that I really know aren't good for me, has me shout at my fiancé, has me be just generally a mardy individual. Like any thinking that's taking me towards not nice behaviour, not nice speaking, not nice feelings, that's the stuff that's the least trustworthy. So if it's holding you back, it's to be got curious about, really. So what's driving me? Oh, what a good question. I don't know. Energy. Life living through me. Aliveness. Like I could cry, really. Like I probably am gonna now, because I do cry when I feel this connection to the truth. But as the thinking gets out of the way, this potential that we have just bubbles out. Like finding myself on here, helping people on here, growing my business on here has come from wisdom. It's come from intuition, and that's what's available to us underneath our thinking. You know, the meditation I've just been recording is pointing to that. That we are so much more than our thinking. We just believe we are our psychology, and we're not. We're not our psychology. So, cry at least once a week on here. Anybody keeping count? I know there's some regulars on here, but I cry. Violet, how many times? How often do I cry? If Violet's still here. Yeah, I do. And it's because I feel so passionate about what I'm sharing. And sometimes that just bubbles over. But I generally find, like, when intuition comes through, Slovena, it's words in my head, like but it just has this different feeling to it. I feel like I've created an event that's happening next week sometime. And it's just, I've got a lot of people who, share the 3 principles, coaches, people like that. And I just thought I'd share with them what I've learned about Insight Timer and what a great place it is to hang out and how wonderful the people are and everything else. And I woke up with the idea that was alive within me. It was just so energized. And within an hour or two, I'd set the whole thing up, invited loads of people. I'd done a Zoom thing, and the whole thing was ready, and I'd invited people, and it just happened so quickly, because it just came. And what didn't happen is, or what tried to happen was thinking. Thinking said, you don't know enough about Insight Timer. What do you think you're doing? You can't share this. It's going to be like really cool coaches there, and they're going to judge you, and you're not as good as them, and blah 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 blah. Noise, and but I ignored it, because the consciousness, the awareness I had of this passion that was coming through me to want to help people to share, amazing content on here, give people as much content as they can have, and for those people to help them with their businesses, just had this. It was alive, Sylvaina. I could have stopped it in the past. I can pretty much guarantee I've had plenty of ideas like that, like my idea for a membership, to share this understanding, to bring a group of people together and have a little membership. That's still bubbling in the background. It's not quite come with the same aliveness yet, but it's definitely been squashed down by my thinking about how hard it will be and how much time it'll take and how blah blah blah, like the stuff that comes into our heads, and that, it just, when something drives me, it is not me. It isn't me. It's the aliveness. But Andy, you're noticing it. What I see there is somebody who is aware, and that's the starting point. To start to see. I have an idea, and my thinking says no. My thinking makes it complicated. Do you know the best thing, Andy, I ever learned about podcasts was they don't have to be perfect. Like on Insight Timer, I do some live sessions on places, and then I download them and upload them as my free tracks on here. They're great, but they're not like fiddly sound quality, and there might be a dog barking in the background. And it's the same with my podcast. I just kind of whack stuff out there. I don't really. When I do a premium track on here, like a course or something, I spend more time and I have to do some editing. And a lot of editing, people will know if they've been following me. Sometimes a lot of editing. And I remember listening to a lovely podcast with two older ladies who in my community. And all the way through, like, their phones are going off, not ringing, but you can hear the phones bipping, or they've got some alert on the computer. You hear that go. They hear the cat meowing, hear the bins being taken. Just like, and they just deliver it. They just download it, and they just upload it, and they go. Like, it's just, we make things as if they've got to be perfect, and better done than perfect, I always say. And when I heard that, I just thought, oh God, I can just whack these tracks out. I don't need to make them perfect. They're fine as they are. So, but Andy, you've got the awareness, which is beautiful. So Jude, welcome to my sessions. I'm Clare Down, the Queen of Calm, and welcome to the Three Principles conversation. Lovely to meet you. More specifics about concrete steps. I don't deal with them. So what happens, and please do explore some more of my content. If something is feeling sad or painful, then that is thought to. Now, I am not saying that we're not supposed to have sad and painful feelings, because of course we are, because there are some things in life that are painful and sad. And of course we feel pain and we feel sad when those things happen. But they are also thought created. And we can see that because sometimes the situation stays the same and our feelings about it change, don't they? Or we can be in the same situation as someone else and they're having a completely different experience to us. I mean, I remember when my dad died, my brother and I just having completely different experience of it. You know, we're both my father's children, but we have different relationships with him. We therefore had a different relationship with his death. We had different thinking about it. My brother went very, very down, and in our speeches are captured on the internet, because we had a Facebook group to live stream the funeral all over the world, and my dad and my brother's speech is maudlin, really, bless him, just really, really, and mine was quite funny and light. Like it was sad because somebody had died, but I tried to bring up memories of my dad when he'd, how funny he was and what a grumpy old Yorkshire man he was and stuff. And, there was laughter during my speech, and there was none during my brother's. So we sad situation, but two people having a completely different relationship with it. And really, we're not looking at our really, really sad situations here. We're going to feel those. Thank God. I mean, how weird would it be if we didn't? But we're talking about the all day, every day, like Andy, who wants to make a podcast and isn't making one. We're supposed to feel, Jude. We're supposed to feel. God, I never want to stop feeling. I never want to stop having, up level, feelings of emotion like that ever. So, Slovenia, yeah, I know exactly how that feels. That's exactly where I was before I came across this understanding. So we've hit an hour, folks, and goodness, there's lots of people here, which is absolutely wonderful. If you've just come in near the end, or you and you've missed quite a lot of this, and you really want to listen to it, I have learned how to screen grab the sessions now, so I will be doing that, and I will be putting them. So if you go to my profile and you follow me on there is a link on there that takes you to my little pen site page, which is brand new today. Actually, just uploaded it today, and on there's all sorts of bits and pieces, including this new YouTube not channel, what's the word? Playlist, a new YouTube playlist where I'm going to start. There's just yesterday's on there so far, so gradually I'm going to record them. They have to be done in real time, and I have to leave my computer and go off and do something else. So they will take a while, but hopefully I'll try and do this one today, and then I'll try and do some over the weekend, and then gradually there'll be a little bank of recordings there. I might even make it into a separate channel. Bear with me on that. Maybe not. No, playlist is best, I think. Anyway, I'm talking to myself now while you're here, so it's quite rude for me, isn't it, really? So I really hope you found this helpful. As I often say, if you have found this helpful, if you're thinking there's something different about this conversation to the other conversations I've listened to, Jude, there's no steps, there's no tools, there's no techniques. This is the subtractive psychology model rather than additive. I'm not going to give you anything else to do, because my God, do we not already have enough to do? You and me and everybody else. We do, don't we? We really do. So if you found this helpful, Insight Timer and I are always grateful for your donations. If you found it helpful, please go and follow me. You'll then get to find out about all the things that I have out there on Insight Timer, and there is quite a lot. I'm quite a prolific creator now, Slovenia. Now that I've got out of my own way, I create quite a lot. I have 2 courses, Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease, and Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles, both available to you now. If you are already a subscriber, then you can access those for free, and if not, I think they're $99 each. Sessions coming up I'll do before I disappear off, because apart from anything else I need the loo. So the sessions that are coming up over the next few days. So Monday at 4:15 p.m. BST. Thank you for all the love hearts. They're really nice. I love the love hearts. So good. So Monday the 5th, 4:15 p.m, Awaking Awareness for Greater Potential. So really that will follow on nicely from this one in terms of looking at awareness. Embracing the unknown. I think, Sylvana, did you mention the unknown today? Tuesday the 6th, 9:15 a.m, Embrace the unknown and step into the realm of possibilities. Oh, fabulous. Love that. Wednesday the 7th at 3:50 p.m. End self-sabotage and uncover the innate potential for success. And Thursday, the 8th at 8:05 a.m. accessing effortless flow and creative potential. And as we have got to 84 people here today, which is marvellous, I might well do one on Friday at 12 again if I can. I don't know what my diary is doing on Friday at 12. Will that be the 9th? Oh no, I think I'm free. I think I'm free around this time. It might be 12:30 actually, but I will schedule one for then as well. Remember, if you I've lost you all, I've lost where you are. Okay, I will try and do one on Friday then. I'll write it down. I'll be 5 next week. I do love this. This is like, I get so excited. I'm like, oh, is it time yet? I just get so excited. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you are able to make a donation, I am truly grateful. Please do follow me. Please check out the link in my bio. There's loads of other things you can look at there and find out about. And what else to say, but lots of love. Have an absolutely beautiful weekend. Can't believe it's Friday again. It's always a bit of a shock when I get to Friday and it's Friday again. Have a beautiful weekend. Hope sun's shining where you are. Lots of love. Please do reach out, connect, find out more about me. And if you want to have a conversation, you can find out more about that on my pen site too. So lots of love, everyone. Take care. Bye.